I try to be considerate of other people around me. I said it was no big deal, and he's like, yeah, it was a big deal to me. And I said, fine. I said, I'm just letting you know I didn't have anything to do with it. And he wouldn't shut up. And I said, look, sit down. Now he's walking towards me. I think, you know, people get drinking, they don't really think about consequences, you know. But I think as you get older, you just kind of set in, this is what I want to do. But this was her idea. I hope she can adventure out. Oh, I hope this works for her. Good morning, everybody. Chuck here in rainy Udon Thani. Gonna walk to Mom's place this morning and finish up the organizing. Hello. กินไม่ได้ครับอ้วนแล้วขอบคุณนะครับครับผม Anyway, I'm gonna go walk this time in the rain because yeah, I like walking in the rain. But I'm gonna tell you guys a little story about a YouTuber last night and a little bit of a problem. But let me get out of this little area right here and I'll be right back. Good morning. Well, I went to go visit my friend's bar down here. I had just left Brian and we were gonna call it a night. Me and Brian were sitting over there earlier and I had forgot to pay my bar tab, which wasn't much. I just forgot. And I went back to do that, and when I went there, there was a couple of guys sitting there, one with an SJ cam, whatever, camera on a stick. You know, obviously somebody who made videos, and just like started talking to me. His friend watched my channel, and this guy seemed like a pretty nice guy, but he was very hyper, like high-strung. And he was showing me some of his content. It looked like he was just showing Thailand. He likes to do interviews and stuff like that, and I think he likes to show the bar scene. And you know, a kind of a typical YouTuber, which I don't really consider myself. I try to be considerate of other people around me as much as I can, not video around too many people. Hang on 1 minute, I'll be right back. Anyway, I don't want to drag the story on too long, so we're sitting in front of my friend's bar. There's a gentleman there having a drink with one of the girls there, and then there's this guy interviewing me and his friend. Oh, and another guy that kind of looks Thai off to the side. And the owner brings me a drink. I didn't ask for it, but she bought it for me. I try to bring her some customers, and you know, I don't know, I like to make people happy, you know, so I always bring my friends there. So this guy starts to interview me. My back is towards the bar, and he's holding the camera in front of us, and he's just asking me a bunch of questions about udon. It was pretty, I don't know, it wasn't that big of a deal. Like I said, I told the guy, I said, dude, you have a lot of energy. You know, he just says, like, I'm in the game. You know, he lives in America, and he's coming to Thailand, and he's doing all this stuff, and he's just very high strung. I wasn't insulting the guy. I was just sounding hyper. And anyway, that was no big. I didn't have a problem with the guy interviewing me. We did the little interview, and I didn't really want to do it, but it happens to me a lot, and it's kind of to be expected from me. You know, random people stopping me, and I'm okay with it. So when I get done, the owner asks me, she pulls me to the side and pulls me in the corner and tells me to sit down. And I sit down. I just wanted to pay my bar tab. I didn't want to hang out. And all of a sudden, this guy who interviewed me is cussing at the customer sitting down behind where we were doing the interview. And I was just sitting there going, what the fuck? Sorry. I was sitting there going, what the hell? So I already kind of figured out, well, the guy didn't want to be on camera. And so they kind of pushed this guy He's like cussing at the customer now, telling him to come out to the street. And they're kind of pushing him out down the road to try to calm everything down. Well, it does. The guy leaves. And I'm sitting there going, oh shit, you know, this is what I don't like about YouTubing. Is a lot of people just don't want to be on camera. You know, they come here for whatever their reasoning is, it's their reasoning, okay? If somebody comes to me and says, hey, I don't want to be in your video, I respect that. You know, you can't do anything about random people somewhere in the background, you know? There's cameras everywhere. If you're out in public, there's not really any privacy. But if you're like doing something in a restaurant and there's somebody right behind you and they say, hey, you know, I was like, okay, no problem. Anyway, that's why I don't like to do stuff where there's a lot of people. I'm uncomfortable with it. That's all there is to it. So anyway, I'm about to leave and I get up and I tell the girl to get the guy's attention that had a, you know, that. And I say, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't know anything about what was going on. And he goes, well, why did you let him do that? And I said, look, I said, I apologize. I said, it was no big deal. And he's like, yeah, it was a big deal to me. And I said, fine. I said, I'm just letting you know I didn't have anything to do with it. That's it. He goes, well, you didn't have to egg him on. I said, look, I apologized. I don't know you. I'm not the one with the camera. And that's it. And he wouldn't shut up. And I said, look, sit down. Because he had stood up telling me, I said, sit. He goes, you don't tell me what to do. I'm like, okay, here we go. Like, now I'm involved in this stupid shit, you know? So I've seen him in there before, an English, I'm gonna assume he's an English guy. He had an accent like an English person. But he was pissing me off. Like, dude, I went out of my way to apologize. I didn't have anything to do with it, you know? And I told him to sit down. He got really upset about that. But he needed to sit down, you know? So I just said, he just started yelling. I said, okay, fine. I don't want to cause problems for my friend's bar. I don't need this shit. So I sat back down. He goes, yeah, eat your chips. I was eating some peanuts. I'm like, you mother. So the owner comes and sits down and she's like, everybody's like freaked out. Like, okay, great. Now what? You know, and I talked to them and I said, look, this happens to me a lot. I apologize. I didn't know. I wasn't thinking anything about it. And they're like, I know. And then like a couple minutes later, the guy gets up. Now he's walking towards me and he's not walking in an aggressive manner. And I think he realizes he was being a dickhead. I can sense it in his, I'm watching the guy, you know? So everybody's like, no. And I see him coming and I don't even get up. And he walks up and he shakes my hand and apologizes. I said, well, I appreciate that. That's very good of you. I said, you know, this happens to me a lot. He goes, well, why? I said, because I'm a YouTuber. What kind of YouTuber are you? I'm like, really, dude? I said, I just make videos about traveling and stuff. You know? I said, these are friends of mine here, and I didn't come here for any problems, you know, but I appreciate you coming over and apologizing, because I apologized to you. And we talked for a brief moment, but it was like, I shook his hand again, and that was it. And then I could see there was still some tension in the place. So I got up and I left, and I waved to the gentleman. His name is Michael. And I said, you have a good evening, Michael. And he waved back and said, okay, thank you, you too. And that was the end of it. But you know, I could have been a hothead like the other guy, you know, and it could have escalated. Whatever it would have escalated into, who knows, you know. I think, you know, people get to drinking, they don't really think about consequences, you know, and then stuff happens and then there's problems. So I think we both did the right thing. Now, I don't know the guy who did the interview. I don't remember his channel, and I'm not blaming that guy. He's just, you know, I'm only telling you this because this is what happens when you do videos in public. And a lot of times when you're in Pattaya or there's a lot of tourists there, Thai people generally don't mind being on the camera, but I don't think a lot of the ladies want to be on camera. And from talking to them, a lot of the reasoning is ex-husbands, ex-boyfriends, maybe family. They don't want to know what they're doing, you know, so whatever their reasoning is, it's none of our business. And if I'm somewhere like a bar and the owner a lot of times asks me to promote their place, I always say up front, if there's anybody who doesn't want to be on this camera, please let me know, and I won't put you on there. And more than half of them don't want to be on the camera. But I hope it doesn't rain too much more. I'll have to take a tuk-tuk back or something. I could have drove, I just didn't feel like I do need to go there and get those boxes and stuff when I'm done. Anyway, I just thought I'd release some energy this morning. It is only, well, it's 8:45. Can I go through here? Oh, yeah. Okay. Anyway, little drama. You know, that's just part of the deal. I know, and I think there's a lot of people that don't like YouTubers because the perception of, you know, we're living in Thailand, making videos and living off of, you know, like being a loser, clickbait, make an opportunist, you know, which I know a lot of people like that too. I know a lot of YouTubers like that. So I don't really take it to heart because I understand they don't know me, and I try not to walk around with a camera like I'm trying to find something, you know, the video, somebody's drama, you know. But yeah, I just sharing my journey, talking to myself. People hold their phone up all. I think my next camera is going to be a phone, a good phone. The one I have is okay, but it's got a little stabilization issue because people don't know, and when you put the front camera doesn't zoom out, and I don't like that. But I think the phone is a little less intimidating. I knew I was going to get it out eventually. Anyway, yeah. So if you see a YouTuber making videos, I don't know. You know, I don't think we do it intentionally. There are some jerks out there, and I'm not going to apologize for them. But I apologize for this guy because I didn't know. And I wasn't thinking, and I should have at the time. But it was just like he was talking so much. And I really just wanted to sit down, and I should have. And the owner should have stopped us and told us to move. But anyway, yeah. Life in the big city. I'm normally a pretty quiet person. I keep to myself. I don't bother myself with other people's problems. Normally, if it wasn't for the YouTube, I would just be somebody in Thailand. I would be nobody. It would be a ghost. That's what I would really prefer. But I'm not, and I'm recognized in many places, even outside of Thailand now. I'm not trying to say like I'm famous, it's just that I have a crap load of videos on the internet, and when people want to, or interested in going somewhere, whether it's Vietnam, Cambodia, wherever we've been, people do video searches, and I have quite a few videos. So a lot of people, probably most, don't approach me. And when they do, it's okay. I mean, most of the people that watch my channel are pretty friendly. And then when they do approach me, I've had a couple of people that I really wish would have kept walking, you know. I'm not the kind of person that seeks out like group conversation or has the need. Like, I'm happy sitting at the table by myself, and I'm happy with good company. You know, I have met quite a few really good people because of YouTube. But if I didn't do it, I don't know what I'd be doing. I'd be like a monk. I met a guy last night with all kind of tattoos on him. Not really jailhouse tattoos, more Thai style, religious type tattoos. And I seen him once in town, and then I was sitting outside with Brian, and he approached me and said he watched my channel and said keep up the good work, and kept walking by. I said, well, that was cool. It was unexpected. I didn't. He was just he's kind of he had like a baby face. He's like a younger guy with a Thai woman. I could tell they were married, and it seemed like maybe he had lived in Thailand for quite a while. Just my quick observation with the tattoos and his demeanor. So anyway, we were at this K&K with Brian, and he's there. I end up having like an hour-long, maybe more, conversation with this guy. Very interesting conversation. Guy, you know, he's different, you know, and I appreciate that. He did his own thing. He was talking about all the mistakes that he made in his life, and you know, it was an interesting conversation. And I don't try to judge anybody, really, you know. I mean, I think it's human nature to look at somebody and have an opinion, you know, but I try not to, because my opinion's just based on my experiences with people. So I try not to do that with. And yeah, the guy was pretty interesting. We had a really long conversation, and it was good. It was good. I'm a pretty good listener, you know. I feel like everybody's probably heard my story like multiple times, so it's difficult to talk to somebody that watches my channel unless they have a question outside the realm of their understanding of what I'm constantly saying. But typically, you know, I'm a good listener, and I like to hear interesting stuff about people. I enjoy that. But for the most part, I'm a pretty content person who is really happy with myself. And yeah, there's a guy with a camera up here now. Hopefully it's not the same guy. Maybe he's just taking pictures. What have I created in Udon, huh? See, it's just when you see something, you just make an instant opinion. I thought he was holding a tripod. He had his camera in his hand, but he wasn't. I think he was just taking a picture. And he has 2 walking sticks, not a tripod. But see how that is? You know, I wasn't really thinking negative, but I was thinking, oh, another YouTuber. You know, so that's what happens. I try not to do it, but it's like human nature. My mom's condo is the one way up on top there. That brown thing is the stairwell. On the other side, it doesn't have that, but the balcony is bigger. The balcony on the far end on this side might be a little smaller than the rest. I'm just looking up here right now because I was thinking we don't want to put a whole lot of stuff up here, you know, because it'll look bad. But some people do have some things up there, not like really colored. They don't want anything hanging on the rails. That's part of the rules of the condo. I envisioned my mom coming here and enjoying Thailand a little bit more instead of, but I think as you get older, you just kind of set in, this is what I want to do. But this was her idea. I hope she can adventure out in her life. From the old inn to the condo, it's been about, it'll be about 22 to 2,400 steps, which is not far at all, actually. Now this person up here has got a lot of stuff outside. Maybe she just got a lot of stuff because she's doing laundry. Yeah, my mom wanted a big balcony, but it looks like she got one. Yeah, maybe they're the same. Oh, I hope this works for her. Let's come in to 7-Eleven near Mom's condo real quick, look around. That's a pretty big 7-Eleven. Maybe because it's for the condo too, you know. A lot of hair stuff. Laundry detergent. Look, Mom, you don't have to store 3 giant things of laundry detergent. They have it here. Toilet paper, milk. Yeah, a lot of condo supplies, chips, water. Leo. Always need Leo. Here you go, Mom. You need a couple bananas, they have them. See, you wanted to make cheesecake. All you got to do is come down to 7-Eleven. There's blueberry, regular cheesecake. Yeah, they have cheesecake here. Yeah, big 7-Eleven. Well, I am back at the condo. It's I want to get the bed stuff on, the bedding. I didn't bring a broom, and this was all underneath the bed. But I got this pretty much as close as I could possibly get it. Yeah, I wish we didn't have this bed in here and make things easier, but next time. Well, I am done here at the house. So, you know, I'm gonna use this as a coffee station here. We'll put her water here. I'll put a power outlet here. There's a plug back here. I had to make an access into that thing. She's got a couple of chairs we'll put here. She can put in some knickknacks or whatever she wants there. Her chair, entertainment center, TV. Over here will be, she wants to bring that green shelf. Bring whatever you want. She brought some stuff to cover it up. She'll have some time on her hands. She's pretty crafty if she wants to cover it up. And no coffee table, she didn't want that. Maybe her little storage or her shelving, whatever there. Or freezer. We got to put the freezer somewhere, probably in the corner here. And it's just a tiny, tiny little freezer. It's not big at all. Not like a big, giant deep freeze. Her kitchen, she's going to have to organize it as how she wants. She still has some space. I'm not really sure about what we're going to do down here. But she has some storage. She can still put stuff up top. She's got a little stool she can stand on. Storage up here. We got to organize that better. And you know, for her plates, she's got more room for her glasses. And so we got storage here. Still lots of storage here. I suggest maybe some kind of either I can get a rack to put in there. I really don't want to screw into his thing, but he'd probably appreciate it. But maybe just some pull-out bins. And yeah, got some pretty full. I don't know. She's going to have to arrange that. And then there's a little bit more room down here. I might have to get a little handle, a stick-on handle or something. Put more pots and pans there. And I installed this today. So it can be organized a lot better. These things come out too if she wants to put some taller stuff in there, up to her. or yeah, I don't know. I think it's better to have this because you have more ways to stack stuff, cleaning stuff. Yeah, some storage up here. Had to put the trash can in the bathroom. In that entertainment center also is some storage, but I've got a nice little, I'm gonna take that out. And I bought a cabinet system that stands on the ground to mount here so she can put her towels. Maybe later something here. I think this will come off. I think what I will do is, they don't want me drilling, but if they can't see back there, you know, and I mount that cabinet there, I wouldn't want just anybody drilling in my condo either, but I think I can install that vanity mirror here for Mom. Not drill so many holes, you know, but maybe the holes that are here will work for her vanity. If not, I'll bring it back and we'll do something different on this side. But yeah, that's it. Bedroom. This floor is dirty, like I said earlier. This is actually ended up being a fitted sheet for the bottom. We thought it was a blanket. I don't have it on there perfect, but the bed is pretty comfortable with that mattress pad on here. So she just needs to get a blanket. She got her dresser drawer will fit perfect in there. A little bit more room in there. And then she has her nightstands. I put that there. I thought, well, we can put she wants to put a little shelving unit here. So I don't know. We'll just have to get it over here and see how it looks and then take back what we don't need. But she can either stack her little nightstands on top of that or put one there and then one down there. In her closet, she's got some room up top. Actually quite a bit to store stuff, you know. For me, it's like plenty of closet space. It's a lot bigger than the one I have at home. And a lot bigger than the one Mom has now. But that's kind of a silly thing, I guess. Actually, no key to it, but yeah, you know, you can put stuff there, I guess. And hang her dresses, whatever dresses she's got left there. Those things come out too. But that's it. There is some storage down here on the bottom of the bed. But I don't know. She wanted the bed like this. And that wasn't really easy to move. But it got moved. Easy living, you know. It's just a condo living. You want something, you walk down here. And that's a mess there, ain't it? You want something, you just go walk right over here, or in this big pavilion here. There's a really nice 7-Eleven. Maybe we'll go check it out. UD Town. Hey, there's a big clock right there, 11:41. Bangkok Hospital. And that other giant hospital is right here. Big hospital right here. See that, like, I don't know what you call it, where they build skyscrapers, that red thing over there. They're building a gigantic upscale condominium complex there, right next to Central Plaza. Yeah, you hang your clothes out here, and there's that thing. Turn that air conditioner on. It is like a dryer. It'll be dry in about probably 20 minutes. Maybe I can put something up here for her to hang. I don't know, that's probably concrete. Maybe, I don't know, it might be sheetrock. Or something sticky so she could hang clothes up there. figure it out. I think if we can just keep it organized, it'll be perfect, you know, but the reason to come here is not to sit in the condo, it's to do something different. All right, guys, I'm going to end today's video. I'm not going to do much. I got to get my laundry, and tomorrow morning I'm headed home. I'm not going to go to Mom's tomorrow. I'm going to go home, stay home with Paige and the family, and we'll start again Monday. So anyway, if you appreciate the efforts, please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, we've got a lot of adventures. We like to travel mostly. My favorite videos to make are the travel videos, the adventure of going to random places. The family life, I get bored sometimes, but I know you guys like to see the family life. I'm bored with the family just making the videos about it, but we've been so busy, haven't had much of that going on anyway. So yeah, I might go to the driving range. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I appreciate it. Bye.